Hey everybody, Todd Faircloth here. I want to explain to y'all, how I use my Lowrance units when I'm scouting a lake, going to a lake that maybe I'm familiar with, maybe I'm not very familiar with. But these are very essential tools on my boat as I'm preparing to go fishing for a tournament, fun fishing, whatever it is. I have my mapping. I run two Lowrance HDS 12s here at the dash, and a lot of people ask, well, what's the reason? Why do you run two? I run one on mapping, totally on mapping, and then I'll run one over here on my sonar part. I've got sonar, I've got down scan, and I've got side scan as well. And the reason why I run one totally on mapping here is it just gives me a lot bigger picture of my mapping. I can zoom in and out on it. Once you zoom out to a certain point, your lateral lines, dissipate. They don't show contour as strong. So when you can run it on a full screen here, you get a better picture of what you're looking at. A lot of the places that I go to, fishing professionally, are places I've never been to before in my life. So instead of having to zoom in and out on stuff, I can leave it on a pretty broad zoom scale here, and it still shows good contour features. That's about a half a mile deal I've got to look at right there. Whereas if it's over here on one of these small block screens or on a split screen box, I don't get near that big picture. I'd say probably a quarter of a mile is what I would get. So that's the big reason for that. Once I start idling around on a specific spot, if I want to use full side imaging, I'll switch that over on this one here on full side imaging. Maybe just run a map and sonar or down scan over here. So there's a lot of different things you can do that are beneficial, for running two units and helping cover a lot of water quickly, I guess you would say. You're not having to zoom in and out. You're not having to switch units. Those are the benefits to using, two Lowrance HDS 12s here at the dash, and that's my philosophy and my reasoning behind it. We're just idling out here, and I'm just kind of panning through my avionics here on my Lowrance, and trying to identify, something on my mapping that stands out, that's different, that could be a potential place for me to catch some fish. And it doesn't matter anywhere you go in the country. I feel like if a person fishes some type of points, whether it be a main lake point, a secondary point, a little tip that runs off of a ridge, something like that. If you fish points and enough of them on a body of water, I feel like eventually you're going to run into some type of fish. So what I'm saying is when I go to a strange body of water that I'm not real familiar with, one of the first things that I do is I start hopping points, and fishing a bunch of points to start trying to get, establish some type of pattern. And as we're idling out here, I've already marked a couple of waypoints here on my Lowrance. You see, here we have the main river channel right here, and then we've got like a secondary couple of bars that run in here. And this is a tip off of one of those bars there. It kind of stands out. And then also over here you have one that comes on the back side of it. So I would just start hitting these points, these obvious things. There's another one like right over here that looks pretty good. And this is secondary stuff off the river channel. If I don't get any bites on that type of stuff, then I'll run out here towards the main river channel. You see I've got one marked here, and people are like, well, what's obvious about that? Well, you have a point that sticks out here, and the river comes real close to it, so you're going to have a real sharp break right there on the river channel off a point. So that's something pretty obvious. And you know, once you identify, okay, the fish are at a certain depth, they're on, say, secondary points, you can start running that pattern throughout the system. Maybe they're on main river ledge points. You can start running that pattern, you know, throughout the system. So identifying where the fish are at, having options, you know, multiple options. When I start, you know, you have an open mind about it, and you just try to find something to start with and something to start running.